All right, hi, my name's Rebecca. I'll be leading our Healthy Joints class today. Thank you for joining us. Please make sure that you leave a comment below. Let us know how we did, how you enjoyed the class, any feedback that you might have afterward. And today is a smaller class. We've got just 2 members here so that we can show you some variations between beginner to intermediate versions of exercises or slightly more advanced versions of exercises. So I'll have Doreen showing you the beginner to intermediate, and I'll have Michael showing you the intermediate to advanced version. So follow along with us. This should be fun. Thank you. All right, you guys, let's start with our stretches. So we're down on the mat using the stretch strap. Right leg goes up into a hamstring stretch first. You guys know the form here, so we're going to keep that left leg down flat. Make sure that your bottom stays on the mat. You're not rolling your bottom up off the mat. And you're finding the stretch in the middle of your thigh, just kind of the back of the hamstring. So that soft bend in your knee is perfect. And you want a nice straight line from your hip through your knee up to your toes. Make sure everything's lined up evenly. We're going to hold that for about 45 seconds before we switch into our next position. And we'll do all 4 stretches on the right side before we switch to the left. You guys feel that in the middle of your thigh? Yeah, getting the stretch in the right place. Okay, all right, good. Now I want you to loosen up on the strap a little bit and straighten out your knee and drop out to the side. Right, so tighten up that thigh and get the knee as straight as you can. Good, and the leg drops out to the side right here, Doreen. Try to find your inner thigh stretch on this one. Good, and you don't want any bend in the knee, so get that knee as straight as you can. We always take that with a grain of salt, right? Because some of our knees get straighter than others. Okay, and if Lori and Norma and Kim are watching, hope you guys are joining us today. We're doing this for you. All right, good. Now I want you to keep a little bit of tension in your abs, belly button through the spine, and bring that leg across your body. But you're keeping the hips down flat, right? Don't let your bottom roll up off the mat. So you want to keep those hips and pelvis nice and level and find the stretch in the outer hip and thigh. So feeling something right through this area? Okay, good.
Prop it up and use the timer. Or take a picture of each of you.
This is what we would normally call our IT band stretch. People get super tight out here on the outer part of that thigh. So we're keeping the hips down so that we're not rolling through the low back. We don't want movement through the low back. We want the stretch in all those tissues on the outer part of your hip and thigh.
Yeah, turn the volume on and start following along. And here.
Okay, and then our last stretch is the figure 4 stretch. So you're going to be crossing your ankle over your left knee. Some people get enough of a stretch with that left foot down on the floor, and then you're just working on a little bit of rotation. You can do a gentle press into your knee and try to feel a stretch back through the right hip. Michael's got a little bit more mobility, so he's pulling the legs up and in, bringing everything up toward his chest. At the same time, though, you want to keep your tailbone, keep your bottom down on the mat. Try not to roll your butt up off the mat, because again, we want to focus on stretching the muscles in the hip joint and not getting too much motion. There you go, motion through your low back. Should be feeling a stretch deep back in the glutes, in the cheek. It's kind of deep in the hip socket back there. All right, go ahead and bring that leg down, and then we're going to use our strap again on the left side. So we're going back to the hamstring stretch, first stretch we started with. So let's make sure the right leg is down flat. Try not to pull so hard that you're pulling your opposite leg up off the floor. Everything should be relaxed down flat on the mat. Soft bend in the knee and find a stretch in the back of your thigh. Okay, so my class is going to be quieter than normal today because they know they're on camera. Okay, let's loosen up on that strap a little bit and get your knee as straight as you can before you drop the leg out to the side. Keep a little bit of tension, belly button pulled into your spine so that your hips don't roll with the weight of your leg. You want those hips down flat. And you're looking for that inner thigh kind of groin stretch. Good, is that knee as straight as you can get it? Nice tight thigh there in the front. Do that about 10 more seconds. And cross that leg over the body now. You're keeping the hips down flat. You're really kind of actively working to keep that left hip down while you pull the leg across. That way you're getting stretch from the opposite end. Kind of holding down and getting some stretch up at the hip. And then that strap is pulling across and just lengthening all the tissue down through the side of your thigh. Okay, last stretch is figure four. So your left ankle crosses over your right knee. Doreen's going to keep that foot down and just use gentle pressure to push her knee out and increase the rotation through the hip. Michael's pulling everything up and in. And that stretch is kind of in the back pocket area, right? Is that where you guys feel it? Back pocket, right? Okay. Okay, so that's it for the stretches for now. Let's go ahead and put your green strap off to the side. And you each have a stretchy band. So Doreen, here we've got red. Band is going to go around both of the feet. And actually, Michael, you know what? Let's hold off on the band for you for a second. Sorry. We are going to start with bridges. And Doreen's going to be doing a double leg bridge, warming up the glute muscles, pushing the bottom up off the floor. Michael's going to be doing a single leg bridge, okay? So Doreen's got feet hip width apart. She's going to keep those knees out at hip width so there's a slight stretch on the band. And then pressing through the heels. Doreen, I want you to do 15 repetitions up, hold for 3 seconds, and back down. Michael, you're going to cross one leg over, okay? So you're going to do what we call a cross leg bridge. Good. So same thing, you're lined up at hip width and you're pushing through the heel and pushing those hips up, hold 3 seconds, and slowly back down. I want you to do 10 on each leg, okay? Okay, so Michael's version is a little bit more difficult because he's got to use his core muscles to hold the hips level and not let that opposite hip drop down as he pushes up through the one side. But both exercises are working the glute muscles in the back of the hips, right? So we're driving the hips up off the floor and we're trying to move the trunk as a unit so that you're not rolling your hips and your bottom up off the floor, but you're actually pushing up and going from a bent hip to a straight hip position with your trunk staying in a nice straight line the whole time. Good, so they're both moving nice and slow and controlled. Doreen's doing 15, right? And Michael's gonna do 10 on that right leg and then switch and repeat 10 on the left leg. So you choose which position is appropriate for you that's gonna challenge your muscles but allow you to do the movement with good control. If you find, you try the cross-leg version and you're having trouble keeping those hips level, you've got one, you're wobbling all over the place, then it's probably good to go back and do a double leg version like Doreen, so that you can really just focus on activating those glute muscles. Kind of feel the work right where the hamstring and the back of the thigh and the rear end come together. Good job. I'm going to even up your feet just a little bit, Doreen. This one's going to come out that way. There you go. Good. Another side to side. Good job. Feeling some fatigue in those cheeks? Yeah? Okay, good. So that was 10 and 10 for Michael. Good. We get to 15, Doreen? Last one. Perfect. That was pretty good timing. So in the meantime, Michael, you can put your band on now. Good. So our next movement is going to be clamshells. We just worked the large glute muscle, which is kind of the backside, the main thing to think of when we look at our backside. That's your big glute muscle. Now we're going to get a little bit deeper into the hip and work the rotators. So let's turn to your left side, okay? Good. Lying on our left side, hips are stacked, nice and vertical. So you want to make sure that you don't allow your hips to roll back into this position. Everything's stacked up nice and straight. Your feet are on top of each other, feet and knees together. Doreen, you're going to keep your feet together, okay? And you're going to do our basic clamshell, rotating the knee up toward the ceiling while the feet stay together. So you're going to do 10 repetitions with a 3-count hold at the top. Michael, you're going to hover your foot, right? You're going to do this version where the foot just stays a couple inches above the other, and you got to hold the weight of that leg while you rotate the knee up toward the ceiling. So both of these guys are doing a hip rotation. They're really using the muscles deep in the hip in the back pocket right here and finding that work to rotate the kneecap toward the ceiling. But Doreen gets to rest her feet lightly together, whereas Michael has to control that movement all the way down through and keep his foot elevated. So slower is better on these. We're working on control. We're working on finding the muscles activating in the right spot. We don't want to do the work in the front of the hip. It should all be in that back pocket area. Good. You guys both look great. We got perfect models today.
Well, of course.
Good. So by number 10, you should be feeling some burn back there. If you're doing them nice and slow, you're using that 3-second hold at the top to just feel the tension in the muscle. And once we get to 10, we're going to turn over to the other side and even that out. So again, find that nice stacked hip position. Make sure your hips are vertical and perpendicular to the mat. And even on this exercise, we're thinking belly button pulled lightly into your spine so that your core is helping you to stabilize and maintain that position. Good. Michael's got his foot hovering. Doreen has her feet together. And you may find that one side is a little bit tighter than the other one. You can't get your knee up quite as high as you did on the other side. That's okay. Don't force the range of motion, rather focus on the quality of movement, keeping those hips stacked up nice and straight. Good job. It's like you guys have done this a couple times before.
Yes.
But it burns every time, doesn't it? Yeah, if clamshells are easy, you're not doing them right.
I'm going to do it
That
right
muscle
now,
should be
too.
working back there. Good job, just to 10. And after that, you can take your band off, and we're gonna roll to your back for an abdominal exercise. Now I'm gonna do a quick demonstration here because you guys are gonna do a slightly different version. All right, so both of you have a set of hand weights. Got some green ones there for Michael, got the pink ones here for Doreen. Okay, so let's get turned to the back and I'll give you those weights. Okay, so I'm going to use Michael's weights for a moment. I'll give them to you when I'm done. All right, Doreen, your version is going to be arms actively pressed up toward the ceiling, so your shoulder blades are pushed away from the floor. You're going to bring those legs up, and I want you to keep your knees bent and slowly tap one heel to the ground, then back up to the start position, other heel to the ground, back up to the start. And you're always keeping belly button pulled in flat and tight, okay? You're trying to keep neutral spine and make sure the work is down in your lower abdominal muscles. So that's Doreen's position. Now Michael, you're gonna do similar motion, but we're gonna go up and then shift those arms about 45 degrees overhead, so you're a little bit more stretched out. So you're not letting your ribs pop up, you're keeping them down flat on the floor. And then, same start position, both legs up in the air, but you're gonna reach the leg out long, pull back in, reach the leg out long, pull back in, okay? All right, so we're gonna do 2 rounds of this, 1 minute per round, and we'll rest a little bit in between. Okay, so both of you should have the arms up. Michael, you shifted slightly overhead. Both legs come up, okay? And we're gonna begin. You're blowing the air out as you reach your leg out. Doreen, you're tapping the heel down, trying to keep the knees bent a little bit, right? So just bring the heel down to the ground without fully extending your leg. Good. Yep, and Michael, you're reaching out long, you're tightening the thigh, tightening the glutes, and you're keeping that tension in your lower abdominal muscles right here, okay? Good. Now, they're not just holding those weights, they're kind of actively pushing away from the mat, really extending through the arms, and we're activating all the muscles from the rib cage down through to those lower abs. Almost there. We've got a little over 10 seconds to go. They're both doing a great job of keeping neutral spine, so they're not mashing their low back to the floor. They're just holding it nice with a normal lumbar curve and rest. Okay, that's our 1 minute. Okay, so you can bring the arms down, legs down, everything rests. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds here, and then we're going to repeat that exact same exercise. Okay, so nothing different. I just want to work on the endurance and making sure that we're timing your movement with your breathing, right? So you exhale as the leg reaches away, inhale as the leg pulls back in, okay? All right, you guys ready for round 2? Arms up, Michael slightly overhead, yep, bring those legs up, and begin. Doreen just tapping the heel down, good. Now Doreen's pretty darn strong, so she's comfortable reaching her leg a little bit further away from her body. If you feel any work or any tension in your low back, then you want to keep your knees bent and just tap the heel down to the floor. That means you won't reach out quite as far away from your trunk, and you should be able to keep the abdominals engaged so that you don't feel stress in your low back. This really is a core focused exercise. The muscles deep in between the hip bones, okay? But we're also practicing keeping those ribs down and flat, and both of you guys look great. You're not letting the ribs pop up. Good job. Keep those arms actively pushing up toward the ceiling. There you go. Almost there. 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Good. Okay, so bring everything down. You put those weights beside you. And I'm going to have you guys roll over to your belly. So I want you to scoot your pillow out of the way. And I'm going to help you get set up with the strap looped around your foot so that we can do a quad stretch for the front of the thigh. So we're laying flat on your belly. We're going to make sure that your hip stays down in contact with the mat. So you want to kind of tuck your bottom under and tighten your glute a little bit, tighten your cheeks so that you've got the front of the hip pressed down into the mat, and then you're gently pulling with the strap and lengthening through the front of your thigh, okay? So you want to keep this foot up nice and straight this way as much as you can, Doreen, and try not to roll over, right? Stay nice and flat right there, okay? You guys feeling that in the front of your leg? Nice stretch all the way down the front of the thigh. Okay, good.
After this exercise, I think
Pulling up some extra stuff here.
And
And again, we're holding these stretches usually 45 seconds to a minute.
Monday, Wednesday.
12. Alright, I'll tell them the ladies over here.
And just stay where you're at. I will come around and help you switch sides. This just saves us a little bit of transition time when I do this, instead of everybody having to roll back over and reach their foot again. Okay, so let's lift that up. All right, there we go, good. So this will be our last stretch down on the mat, and then we're going to come up and we're going to start our circuit of exercises that incorporates a little bit of upper body, postural work. We try to work a little bit of everything in here. It's called Healthy Joints. We focus a lot on the knee and the hip joints, but it's all part of the same project. We have to have strength from the core, starting in here and working all the way out, so that we've got better control over our movement patterns. Okay, go ahead and release the stretch. And then we're going to come up off the floor for this next section. Okay, thanks, Michael. All right, so we've got some cleanup, a little bit of transition to do. I'm going to demonstrate the exercises. We're going to have 3 different exercises, and you guys are going to move around these circuits together. So you'll both be able to work on the same exercise at the same time. All right. Now before we get going on that, let's have Doreen stand here, hands against the wall. Michael stand here, and you're going to do a calf stretch, okay? So we're going to get one quick stretch in here before we finish up and move on to the other exercises. Good, so these guys know this stretch. We're working on stretching through the back of the leg, kind of this upper calf muscle and into the back of the knee. We want to make sure that the toes are pointed directly forward, the heel stays down on the floor, and you're tightening the front of the thigh and keeping that knee as straight and extended as you can. You don't want any bend in the knee. Work on that. I'm going to get these last couple things in place. And again, this is 45 to 60 seconds typically, and then we'll switch sides. All right, go ahead and switch and make sure you peek down, you take a look at that foot, and everything is nice and straight, right? Yeah, a little bit more. Trying to hit them up. There you go, Doreen. Good. These guys are both doing a really good job of keeping their hips square and level, right? The hips are pointing forward toward the wall. You can see the nice level belt line, so we're not dropping on one side or the other. Good demos today. Good models. About 10 more seconds. I said we were doing our circuits next, but I lied. We have one more exercise to do here at the wall before we get into the circuit. Okay, so these guys are going to work on a little bit of calf strength next. Doreen, I want you to stand with both hands at the wall, feet side by side, just a little bit less than hip width apart, right? And you're going to do a 2-leg heel raise, okay? So pressing up through the big toe, squeezing using those calf muscles, and keeping both legs locked out nice and straight, so butt and thigh are tight. Michael, and let's do 15 repetitions, nice and slow, okay? Michael, you're gonna stand nice and tall, standing on one leg, okay? So you're gonna lock out that one leg, good. And you're gonna press up and down 10 times. So heel raise on this one, okay? All right, so we've got our beginner to intermediate version is standing on two legs, but you're trying to push really, really evenly through both feet. Make sure that you don't have one leg working harder than the other. And for both people, we want to emphasize tightening the muscle in the front of the thigh, the quad muscle right here, so that the knee stays locked out really straight and you don't see a bend in the knee as you push up onto your toes. Okay, so this kind of works everything. Your glute muscles in the butt, the quad muscles in the front of the thigh, your core should be engaged, helping you stand tall, and you're feeling the main work of that push up and down through the calf muscle in the back of the leg. Once you get to 10, switch sides, Michael. Doreen's going to keep going on two legs. Tighten up that thigh, get the knee as straight as you can. And sometimes you'll see this, Michael doesn't have 100% full extension in the knee, but the extension he does have, he is keeping that knee as straight as he can the whole time. So you won't see it bend as he pushes up, right? It's actually looking really good. You're doing a great job. Should be almost done with those repetitions, and then we'll be able to move on to our cable station for our first upper body exercise. That last one was a doozy, huh? You got it. Good job. Okay, ready? Moving right along, right? Okay, so Doreen's going to use our handles right here. Michael is going to use a rope, so it's a little bit different, but it's going to be the same hand position, okay? Michael is going to challenge himself to what we call a tandem stance. One foot in front of the other, so it's kind of like you're standing on a balance beam or a tightrope, heel to toe, and that's going to make you work a little bit harder to keep yourself upright and control your balance. From there, abs tight, my thighs and my glutes are engaged, so I'm supported through my legs, and I'm going to pull elbows back, squeezing my shoulder blades together, and slowly come forward. So I want to exhale as I open up my chest and squeeze those blades, and inhale as I return to my start position. So I'm going to have Michael do 10 times, okay, with the left foot forward, and then switch, and 10 times with the right foot forward. Same movement, just standing on the other position. Doreen is going to do the exact same row, but she's going to stand feet side by side and just keep her body up nice and tall. Same squeeze, hold, and slow return, okay? So you're going to do 15 to 20 repetitions while Michael is doing 10 on each side, okay? So I want you both to make sure abs are tight and you're standing tall with good posture before you start. Now you got one foot in front of the other, Michael. So let's find that position right there. Good. Then stand tall, even weight on both legs. And we are pulling and bend them together. There you go, bend the elbows so your hands just come right into your rib cage. Okay? Good. And we're finding the work in those postural muscles right here between the shoulder blades. You can make your arms do all the work with this type of exercise, or you can actually lead the way by squeezing those shoulder blades, and that's going to help you stand taller, chest up, shoulders back, right? Good. Nice. You can even see the blades coming together back here. It looks really good. So hopefully you're counting, Michael. Once you get to 10, you're going to switch feet. That right foot's going to go forward. And Miss Doreen is just going to keep working. Just keep pulling with feet side by side. Okay, yep, so find that balance first. Stand nice and tall. Okay, good. There we go. Good work, you guys. Good, should be almost finished with that set. Then we're going to move into a little bit of functional lower body exercise next. Good work. All right, we got it. So carefully place those weights back, and then we're moving on to our chairs over here. So this is going to be Doreen's station. Doreen's going to start standing in front of the chair, nice light ball in her hands. And what I want you to do is press the ball out as you reach your butt back and sit all the way down, right? And then reach forward and press up through your heels as you stand back up tall. So our knees stay out at hip width, both feet and knees. You don't want to see those knees fall together as you stand up, okay? It's a very common problem when people get in and out of a chair. So the knees stay out wide as you sit down with good control. The knees stay out wide as you lean forward and stand back up. Now Michael is going to do a slightly different version. He's got a little bit of weight to his ball. He's going to stand in front of the chair, and instead of sitting all the way down, he's going to reach out and tap his bottom with good control and then stand right back up without actually sitting down. So the knees are still at hip width, okay? Still reaching out with the ball. Press back up through the heels, okay? All right.
I want Doreen's.
Okay, so for both of you, 15 repetitions, slow and controlled. Think about keeping those glutes engaged so that you're pushing the knees apart, right? And Doreen's going to sit all the way down. Michael's going to tap and come back up. Good. And you can kind of rest in between, right? Give your arms a rest. Reach out as you sit down. Good. And then you can kind of give yourself a rest at the top of the motion by bringing the ball into your chest. Good. So what I want you to feel is a lot of weight in your heels so that when you reach forward and you sit back, keep moving. You're looking good, Michael. When you reach back there, lots of weight in the heels and you feel load into your glutes. Okay, not too much stress in the knees. We shouldn't be feeling the knees push forward over the toes. We should be reaching the bottom way back behind us so that you feel all the muscles on the back side firing up, okay? Good. Good job. Yeah, so keep those heels pressed into the ground, bottom reaching way back. Good work. Anybody counting?
I have to count too?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm going to estimate here. I'm going to say each of us do 5 more, okay? Good. Now try not to let your chest dip forward too far, Michael. You're still going to kind of keep chest up as the bottom reaches back. There you go. Good. Good. Butt back. Let's do just one more, slow and controlled. Okay. Good. And then I will take the ball, and you can both have a seat in the chair because we're going to put a band around the ankles for our next exercise, okay? So Doreen's using a red band. It's a TheraBand that we've tied. It's a little bit less resistance than what Michael's going to use. And again, we've got 2 different exercises. So let's move this out of the way. Okay, Doreen is going to be doing a stationary exercise that's working the side butt muscle, kind of the side supporting hip muscle. She's going to stand here, hands on the wall for balance, standing nice and tall. Shift all of her weight onto the right leg, and then she's going to push that heel out to the left side, hold for 3 seconds, and slowly back down. And right here, side of the hip, is the muscle that should be doing the work, okay? So 10 times, slow and controlled with the left leg moving, and then she's going to switch and do the same thing with the right leg pushing out to the side, okay? Now, Michael, you're going to be doing our band side steps, okay? So standing up with the hip facing the edge of the mat over there, really straight, tight legs, tight butt, and without bending the knees, small controlled steps to the side. So you're working the same muscles that Doreen is, okay? but you're doing it with a little bit of motion. So I want you to stand tall, squeeze your cheeks, and try not to let those knees bend as you go, okay? All right, so good. Doreen, we're gonna start, one leg moving. Really try to keep the weight on this leg and just push to the side, hold 1, 2, 3, and back in. Okay, let's have you stand a little bit closer to the wall. There you go, so you can stand a little straighter. Good.
And do the same leg?
Yep, same leg, 10 times, okay? So, reaching from there, side glute med muscles doing the work here. And you're trying to stand straight and tall, don't lean forward, okay? Good, so 10 times, push that heel out to the side. Yep, and try to find the work right there. Good, now Michael's doing a good job of nice controlled steps. The biggest challenge is no lean forward, right? Don't lean that body forward, okay? Tighten up your thighs so your knees don't bend. Okay, the front of those quads should be super tight. Can you feel the work from the side of the hip here, side of the butt area? Okay, good. Michael's just gonna keep doing his laps back and forth until Doreen's done with 10 and 10. Okay, I think we're about to switch sides, right? Okay, one more. Good job. Okay, so now standing with tight buns and tight thigh on that right leg. Good. And find the work here. Push out to the side. There you go. Good. Stay super tight through this leg. Good. So you can control that motion. Good. We feeling the burn, guys?
Yeah, more than a burn.
Good job. And stay as strong as you can through these muscles right here. Squeeze your thigh, squeeze your butt. Good. And that leg pushes out to the side. Good job. Okay. Good. Keep those knees straight, Michael. Tight buns. Good work. So this side's a little bit more challenging. You can see a little shift in the hip, and that's okay. Doreen's been working on strengthening this left leg, but she's focused on tightening the thigh and tightening the butt to support herself on the right leg, and then finding the work of the lift from right here. Good job. Okay. Good. What number are you on, Doreen?
Forgot to count.
Forgot to count. 2 more. That's the rule. If you forget to count, it's 2 more, right? Good job. 3, 2, 1, and that's it. That's where we end today, okay? So I'm going to help you step out of that band, all right? Okay, Michael's getting out of his red band. High fives all around. Everybody did great. Good work.
That's great.
Okay, I'll take that. Thank you so much. These guys were a great sport for joining in, knowing that they were on TV today, on film, right? So thank you guys for joining us on Facebook. I hope you had a great time with it, felt some good work, and make sure to leave your comments at the end. Thanks.